E. coli outbreak on the front of The Independent. It says hospitals in Germany now appealing for new blood donations as the number of victims rises there. There are now 11 people in the UK with food poisoning being linked to that outbreak of E. coli on the continent, in Germany particularly. 4 new cases being confirmed last night by the Health Protection Agency, all of them from or having travelled recently to northern Germany, where 18 people have died of the infection in the past 2 weeks. Indeed, in Germany, hospitals said now to be struggling to cope with the crisis, appealing for more blood donations from the public. Officials confirming almost 200 new cases in the last few days, taking the total number of suspected cases to more than 1,700. Indeed, more than 1,800 people being affected across the world in countries including United States, Sweden, France, Spain, but most of them with some link to Germany. Well, joining us now from his home in Thatcham, Dr. Mackey, lecturer in microbiology at the University of Reading. Good morning to you, Dr. Mackey. First of all, let's just establish what we're talking about. Some reports say this is a new strain, but I gather that's not quite correct.
Well, it is a new strain in the sense it contains features which were not formerly available in other E. coli strains. It seems to be a combination of existing strains. In nature, these E. coli can sort of reshuffle their genes and come up with new combinations of virulence factors which can give rise to strains with new characteristics. And this seems to be what's happened in this case.
So a mutation of some kind, but I gather that the danger is it's got some kind of glue that makes it stick to the lining of the gut and then releases these toxins.
Yes, that's right. They have a special mechanism for attaching to the lining of the intestines, and once they're in position, they can then inject their toxins, which can get into the bloodstream and cause these awful hemolytic uremic syndrome effects on the kidney. Yes.
And obviously that, as we've seen, proves fatal in those. Normally it's the very young or very old, we're told, that are sensitive to this, but this feature, it seems to be affecting healthy, strong adults as well.
Yeah, this is the worrying feature of it, and the complete genome sequence of this particular strain is now available, and scientists will be studying this very carefully to try and find out what it is exactly that makes this strain so effective. I mean, for example, does it produce more toxin than normal, or does it stick better? We just don't know yet. But further from that, it's very important, I think, at this stage to try and find exactly the food that was implicated in this outbreak so that it can be removed from the market to bring the outbreak under control.
Yeah, now
when we get a new strain like this, I think it's very important to find out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, the very fact that you've got this new identity, that it is a transformation, does that make the detective work, if you like, easier, and you can identify it so much more easily?
Well, it does. It makes identifying it easier if you've got the complete genome sequence, but it's still quite a tricky task to isolate it from food, to pick it out from all the other natural bacteria that are present. And I know that the people in China are now working on trying to come up with a quicker and simpler diagnostic test which would help in the epidemiology in looking for it.
And does it mean that you've got to be exposed to the fruit or the vegetable to actually ingest this? Or can it be also passed person to person by not washing hands and so on?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't pass from person to person like flu or cold or anything like that. But if you come into close contact with somebody that's ill, then you can get it from person to person contact. If somebody's got diarrhea, obviously anyone in contact with them should be very careful about washing hands and hygiene in general.
Yeah, and obvious lessons too about washing any veg or salad products until they find the source. But for the moment, Dr. Mackey, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and no doubt we'll be speaking to you in the days ahead. Thanks very much indeed for your time this morning.